All right. Good afternoon, Cary.
Hey Amar, how you doing?
Good, good. Hey,
Good.
Cary, I just read an article that said two-thirds of content that you're reading or that you're consuming is written by an algorithm or AI or a computer source.
Oh my gosh, I,
Not
I
very
I didn't know that, but it does not surprise me to hear that because AI is just it's just taking over so fast and moving quickly. I heard recently that Chat GPT hit 100 million users, and it seems like it was like 3 days or some crazy
Yeah,
number, some crazy short period of time. So that
yeah,
doesn't surprise me at all to to hear
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and so today we're talking about just, making the transition into retirement, like what things you should be aware of.
Hmm.
And most people that we find in this transition um, have some blank space in their calendar, right? After they make this transition, and what are they filling that time with, and where they're getting information has a big impact on how much they enjoy the next decade.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Amar, this is one topic where I can speak from experience, right? And
right.
of course, you know this, but I retired from a large corporation where I had worked 35 years in financial services last August. And retirement came a little faster than I had planned. The company was making some changes, and they were, looking for opportunities for people to consider packages or job eliminations, and those things were happening. We see that a lot happening in the corporate world today.
Yeah.
But for people who are, kind of prepared for retirement, at least have been saving for it and prepared that way, it was a good time to just, say yes. And, for me, I had a 90-day transition period. And, for the first 30 days was a little busy. This next 60 days, wasn't so busy, and boredom started, setting in even before I was officially retired. Kind of a good thing in the sense that boredom is a little bit painful, and it's a good motivator to kind of get you moving and find out, okay, what am I going to do, now that I have more time. And I had read something recently. It was probably written by Chat GPT, or AI, but what it said was boredom is the pain of unused potential, right? So I could be doing something valuable right now, but I'm just not doing it, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, so while we're on this thread of AI writing articles and stuff like that, it's AI also knows what type of content you like and what your interests are, what your hobbies are, and I think something that new retirees have to be cognizant of is that the amount of information that you're getting, and the facts that you're trying to, the fact finding process of what's real and what's not, you're getting more articles or more information that's catered to your existing biases, right?
Yeah.
And a good way to illustrate this would be, when I want to take a trip and I like research, traveling to Sedona, Arizona, and all this stuff. The next day I open my email and I have all these advertisements of, Airbnbs or whatnot in Sedona, Arizona. And then the articles that I'm starting to read are about, Jeep tours in Sedona, Arizona as well.
Yeah, there's risk in that, Omar, in the sense that especially when you retire and you have more time on your hands, the world is big and the things that you can do are almost endless. But if the only things that are in front of you are the things that you've already expressed interest in or are doing, you may be missing a whole universe of activities out there that are available in places where you could spend your time and be more active. And also places where you're doing something new, learning something new, meeting new people, right? And you just may not see those other avenues unless you're really purposeful about seeking those out and aware that these algorithms are only putting in front of you what it thinks you want to hear or see.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think part of this leads to some level of paranoia or nervousness. And, I look to my mom, for example, who's retired for a number of years, and she doesn't have as many big decisions to make on a daily basis, right? So each decision tends to weigh emotionally more than it would have in the past, right? And I can see the nervousness and the paranoia around those decisions being influenced by the content that she's receiving, as
Mhm.
well, and I think that could be a very dangerous situation for someone entering retirement. Right, it's a new risk, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. That risk can also lead to, if everything you see is seeing is stuff that you want to hear, it can have you it can have you maybe just be a little more lonely and isolated, right? And then there's health risk to that, right? Whereas if a person is willing to get out and explore and meet people who think and do things differently than themselves, right? There's health benefits to that, and
Yeah,
so but it's one of those things where you don't know necessarily that that's the path you're going down. As you're doing that, you think you're just going day by day and living your life, and you may not even be aware that you're kind of in that rabbit hole, so to speak.
yeah. And so, like, I think, like, when we talk to our existing clients about, like, finding the truth and what matters and stuff like that, is really to have um, an opportunity to put pen to paper, to kind of have this, like, sounding board with yourself to say, all right, what are my values? What's important to me? Right? What are experiences that I want to have in the next decade that would make my next decade, 10 times better than what it could be? If I continue doing what I'm doing, then 10 years from now, I'm going to look back and I'm not going to have these experiences, right? So, like, how do I create those experiences that I want, right? And then from there, from a financial planning perspective, is tracking your budget to make sure you're having those experiences, right? That are
Yeah.
aligned to what you want. But
Yeah, but more, I would say, goes way beyond just budget and investment strategies and things of that nature. And this is something I see you do well, but I think it's important for any financial planner or financial advisor. You have to have a strong relationship with that person, right? You have to be able to ask them the questions that make them think about things that are outside of the world just in front of them, right? And so you don't want them just to have a good next decade financially. You want them to have a good next decade in every way possible, to include living just a really great life.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, if you found this conversation valuable, please remember to subscribe to our channel. And thank you for watching. Any closing thoughts, Cary?
Mar, first I would just add also, we have a great newsletter and you can subscribe to that as well.
Yep,
Once a month, great insights in there on various topics. But no, I just appreciate the conversation. It's good to chat with you and others today.
sounds good. Thank you.
All right. See ya.